The guy that you're about to listen to was a former elite of Canada, believe it or not. And this is his testimony. This is actually a long video, but I'm just going to show you a small version of it. And his interview about the Satanic elite in Canada. All right? Believe it or not. Okay, here, let's go ahead.
Talking.
Let me go ahead and put it on a part here. Interview with an ex-Satanic elite. Okay?
Talking to the supposed spirits of the dead. He says, this is silly.
And this man had been at the seance with you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he's telling you that it's silly what you've just done.
Because see, my wife, he says, goes to these seances because she gets comfort and she gets something good out of it, good feeling out of it. And she lives for what the spirits are going to see that the future is going to be like. To me, he says, I can't bother with this stuff. He says, I want power. I go right to the source of power. And he says, how do you think that I became famous the way that I am? Well, I said, you must have had some good luck. Well, he says, there's no such thing as good luck. He says, there's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation. So it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship.
Did it intrigue you? Or did it make you want to find out more about what exactly he was talking about?
Yeah. So he said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. They're fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were
Well,
just doing
it shocked you a little bit, something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing. He says among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood. And God did not bear with him like he does with people that make mistakes today. So we're in a warfare, good against evil. And we happen to be the evil ones, but we're not that bad. He says, I look at this business between the forces of good and evil. He says, you believe in one person believes in God, and everyone believes in Lucifer. It's like politics.
So the great controversy is real. And you've heard someone talk about it that's on the other side.
And to these people, they are sold to the fact that Christ will not return to this planet with power and great glory. He's going to abdicate all claims to the planet, because the high priest once said that Christ will abdicate all claim to the planet because he knows that it is lawfully and rightfully Satan's. And at that time he says, Lucifer, he mentioned Lucifer a lot of times, but he mentioned Satan also. He says, the master, usually they like to talk about the master will resurrect his people from the graves.
Now, George is telling you all this, or the high priest?
George.
Okay, when the evening wound down, and you're putting a cap on all that, you guys had consumed some alcohol.
Yeah.
And did you feel like that there was kind of a one-shot deal? You didn't know if it ever happened again? What happened after that?
He said, no, I said, listen, guys. He said, I like to have you, says, meet some of our people. What about next week, Wednesday evening? I'll pick you up at your place, and you're invited to one of our services.
Services? Like a church service?
Yeah, something similar like that. It's a testimonial to the spirits, about how the spirits have blessed your life. See? So, when we left there, I said to myself, this guy's half drunk. I'm not going to hear from him again, But it was true. Wednesday night came, he was there with his big Lincoln, step in, and we went to one of the most beautiful area of Montreal. And the place was a mansion. Now, a mansion is usually very large. We call this a small mansion. It was beautiful, most beautiful place. Yeah.
Roger, your friend George took you and Roland to this mansion where people worshipped the demons.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like there? What kind of people were there?
Well, it was a big surprise for me, as I kind of made up in my mind an idea that they were going to be rough-looking characters. But as we entered the place, I was amazed to see that they were all very well dressed, well mannered, and that a lot of the people, as we were being introduced to people, were professionals, doctors, attorneys, a lot of business people. And see what they had a praise session to the gods, which is the spirit counselors, which are in charge of legions of spirits, of demon spirits. And they talk about what the Lord of their lives has done for them. Because they call on...
Anyway, this is a very interesting documentary about this guy who was a former elite. This was back in the early 80s that this interview was conducted. And he finally came out and exposed a lot of the folks that are within the Canadian elite about what they were doing and, satanic, Luciferian worship, etc. And you really can't find this documentary too many places anymore. YouTube has shunned, I think, taken off at least most of the ones that I used to watch. But it is a huge, big part series. And as I've stated, okay, look, I'm not trying to preach to anybody. I'm not trying to suggest that anyone needs to believe anything. But as you notice, for whatever reason, the Satanists, whenever they conduct their ceremonies or their praising to God, etc., their gods, whatever, they blaspheme Jesus Christ. The same thing with the Jews, the same thing with the Muslims, the same thing with the atheist. Now, I ask you, even if you do not believe that Jesus is the Son of God and he was a mere man, what the fuck did Jesus do to justify this level of not just hatred, but they gained some level of energy from doing this? And you see, this is what I tell every atheist out there that is suggesting that, oh, Jesus is nothing. He was a man. And, okay, he was a man. What did he do? Well, what did he do wrong? All he did wrong, and if you really want to take a look at it, was show people that were down and out in the area of what is now Israel that was controlled by the Romans. All he did was show people that were down and out the ability to manifest reality, manifest things into reality. To be able to take care of themselves. And he didn't judge people. He didn't go out and judge people based upon what they have done. Much like our society, we judge very, very frequently, based upon what we wear and what we do and all this other shit, okay? Now, all I'm simply stating is, I read Jesus Man, okay? There has been 4 historians that are Roman historians that prove that he actually exists. I have not read one thing about Jesus that justifies this level of hatred, this level of spiritual warfare. I mean, I don't even know what to call it, for Christ's sake. I don't understand how this is justified in any capacity unless there's some kind of validity to the fact that Jesus is something that is counteracting or counteractive to the people that are evil in this world. So all I'm simply stating is that even if you don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God, these people believe that he's so important that they have to blaspheme him in every capacity possible. When Barack Obama allowed ISIS to run amok in the Middle East, what was ISIS doing? ISIS was beheading Christians and Coptics Because believe it or not, there are Muslim Christians and there are Muslim folks that believe in Jesus, and they were being executed by ISIS. These are facts. Now, if Jesus is such an insignificant nothing, then why in the fuck are they killing these people? That's all I'm asking. You need to ask yourself that, and then, if you can find an answer, it's probably not going to be, if you're a Satanist or an atheist, the answer that you want. You know what I'm saying? I personally believe, if you want my belief, that the Satanists, which are in the Catholic Church, which are in organized religion, perverted Jesus. I don't even believe in the Bible. The Bible is the New King James Version of the Bible. All right? We're getting an interpretation of a translation and not even getting all the books that encapsulated the Holy Grail. So, this idea that, you're trying to correlate Jesus with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church doesn't even worship Jesus. You know who they worship? They worship his mother. They worship his mother. And that has a whole other connotation to it. All right? Because I don't even want to get into the depths of where that goes. But all I'm simply stating is that Jesus, even if you don't believe he was the damn Son of God, or you don't believe in this, that's fine. Jesus man. What did Jesus man do? If you don't, I'm not telling you to believe that he was Jesus, God's son, or any of that shit. Give me one fucking reason why Jesus man is hated so much. All he did was help people. All he did was try to help those that were down and out. And because he helped them, they followed him. Okay? They followed him because he helped them. And because he helped everybody that followed him, that's what made him popular in the area of Israel at this time. Back then, during his time that he walked the earth. I mean, lest we forget, this was a Roman province. The governor of that Roman province was Pontius Pilate, who inevitably made the decision to crucify Jesus only after being pressured by the merchants in that region. I mean, lest we forget, Pontius Pilate's wife didn't even want Pontius Pilate to crucify Jesus. Jesus was hated because he told the truth. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. All right.